stay with that story. Let's take you now to Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Mineral Resources Chair, Sahlulele Luzipo. Good evening, Mr. Luzipo. Pleasure to have you on the show tonight. This problem is not only getting out of control, but is clearly leading to the loss of mass lives now. In terms of Parliament's response and expectations over how the police would respond to illegal mining, especially given the way it has been under the spotlight in the last couple of months, are you satisfied right now with what you're seeing?
Look, I think let's also agree that we're experiencing different dimensions now that are emerging out of this exercise. The first thing is that we had to express our disappointment that it is the same area where women were raped, and we then learned later that charges of sexual abuse have been withdrawn, which is a very serious indictment in a country that is faced by such high levels of gender-based violence and femicide. And we hope that on the first part of this matter, this would have been just a retreat on the part of police in order to do a proper job. Because I don't think there is a nation that can rest when women are so much exposed in such huge numbers, experiencing such a brutal act of gender-based violence, with this massive rape, multiple rapes to some of them. And that is the first part. The second part, I think we must be able to say that at this stage, we are not sure of in terms of the information. But you'll recall that in the part of what we did when we visited the area, one of the concerns we raised was the lack of separation between what we would call activities of illegal mining and active operational mining that is taking place in the area. Because we were told that what we understood to be a mine that still possesses a mining right, it was located almost in the same place where there is an active mining right and active operation. And I think part of what for me, I would say, from where I'm sitting, what police have to do is first to get who is the owner of that mine, because this is an active mine site. It's not now like a derelict ownerless mine or a mine that is under care and maintenance, or is mine that is disused. It is a mine that is actively operational. Why illegal miners will be doing mining in an illegal mining area? And I think if police can be able to detect that, it will be able to give us a clue whether don't we have a situation where our own active mining operations, in order to avoid and this might be a very serious allegation to make, but anything is possible under the sun. Whether illegal mining at some point, it is not also used as an excuse to avoid what I would call cost that goes with formal mining activities. I have not got, at this stage, I've not been able to establish how illegal miners would be found, in as much as they say they have been moved to a particular site, until we know then the original site that they were taken from to an active operation. Then we will be able to say whether there was foul play or no foul play. I'm very concerned if the starting point is a conclusion that they doubt that there is foul play. What informs that conclusion?
Mr. Luzipo, when we look at, again, the commitment that was made by the police, it was that they would remain hot on the heels of the operations of these gangs. What Linda has told us, based on being out in the community today, is that there's hardly been visibility of the police, and that by and large they have withdrawn that presence in Krugersdorp. Surely that is part of the problem here, because you know, the criminals are sitting and they're watching all of this, and as soon as the police leave, they begin to come back, and it becomes business as usual.
Look, I can't dispute that, and I think probably the chairperson of police can be able to answer that question. But let's deal with to me, what is the grey area? The grey area here is that you police themselves, they are not saying, they say they don't suspect foul play. Foul play would mean that some of these people would have been killed or what. They don't suspect foul play. These illegal miners are found in an active operation, not a derelict and ownerless mine. It means someone is doing mining in that area. It means someone possesses a mining right. Until then, we clarify how did it happen 19 to 21 bodies are found in an active operation of a mine, and we say we don't suspect any foul play. The mere fact that they would have been taken to another, from one spot to another spot, it to me says there would have been a foul play. So I'm not denying the fact that our communities are sitting under a reign of terror of illegal mining activities. But I'm saying let's look on the other side. Wouldn't it be sending a message that our active mining operations, and I'm not saying this as a matter of fact, we're saying police must go deeper to check whether, in terms of the active operational mines, they are not playing a role in perpetuating the crisis that we are having. I would have expected that the operator of that mine would have come back and said, this is the crisis that we have been faced with. We now have a huge problem here of illegal miners who are now operating in our own formal mining areas. And until we address that issue, we will then not be able to deal with the problem that our communities are faced with in terms of the terror that is
and even what you are saying, Mr. Luzipo, would fall under an investigation by the police. It will form part of what the police would need to look into if there was true commitment to really uproot these gangs. They're operating in the same area. So it's hard to believe that police who would have been stationed in Krugersdorp since we saw the gang rapes, who would have been investigating not only those killings, we saw the way in which they were going to different shafts, arresting people, that those very same police would not be aware of what was happening on this mine.
Look, maybe I didn't get the last. Look, all what I'm saying, I can't speak on behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Police. All what we can urge, including our colleagues from police, is that we shouldn't be narrow and just look at. I find it very odd and very difficult. Probably it's an issue that we must also engage the Department of Mineral Resources to say, have they ever received complaint from the mine operator, which is the owner of the mine, that they are facing this challenge, and what is their take? I'm just worried about the fact that the mine owner or the active mine operator, we don't hear anything about what has happened. And it from where I'm sitting, I'm saying, amongst other things, we have to go deeper and dig deeper as to why this incident happened in the manner that it happened. Especially just on the heels after the withdrawal of the suspect. Yes, we agree those suspects are still in custody, but why it had happened just immediately after the withdrawal of those particular charges. We may even go further and say in their own forensic, in their own investigation, we would expect that police must also look at where, in terms of the investigation, it must even go to the extent of doing DNA tests so that we can be satisfied that those people are not linked to the first incident where women were raped in multiple numbers. So I wouldn't support an idea that says, no, there is no foul play on this thing. I think police must go beyond what is normal in terms of their investigating capabilities.
All right, let's leave it there for tonight. The Chair of Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Mineral Resources, Sahlulele Luzipo.